Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about something that most people think they understand, but very few truly value. I want to talk about the doors you never opened. The opportunities you walked past. The rooms you stood outside of but never entered. And the one key that could have unlocked all of them: education. Not just school. Not just degrees. Not just exams. Education. Because whether you realize it or not, your life right now is a house full of doors. Some are open. Some are closed. Some are locked so tight you've convinced yourself they were never meant for you. And the difference between the people who walk freely through life and the people who feel trapped is often one simple thing. They found the master key. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone living the life you want, financial freedom, confidence, influence, peace, and wondered how they got there? Maybe you told yourself they were lucky. Maybe you assumed they had connections. Maybe you thought they were just smarter. But what if I told you the biggest difference wasn't talent? It was access. And access comes from knowledge. You see, every skill you don't have is a locked door. Every concept you don't understand is a locked door. Every opportunity you're afraid to apply for is a locked door. And every time you say, "I can't," what you often mean is, "I don't know how." That's not weakness. That's a missing key. Most people grow up thinking education is just about passing exams. They study to avoid punishment. They memorize to avoid embarrassment. They chase grades to please parents, teachers, society. But real education was never meant to be a prison. It was meant to be freedom. Freedom from ignorance. Freedom from manipulation. Freedom from depending on others for answers. Freedom from limited thinking. Freedom from small rooms. Imagine walking into a massive building with hundreds of doors. Behind one door is financial independence. Behind another is confidence. Behind another is the ability to build a business. Behind another is influence. Behind another is creativity. Behind another is leadership. Now imagine standing there, with empty hands. You see the doors. You want the doors. But you don't have the key. That frustration? That feeling of being stuck? That quiet voice that says, "There must be more than this"? That's not ambition. That's awareness. And education is the master key. But here's the problem. Most people are handed a small key and told it opens everything. It doesn't. School teaches you how to follow instructions. It teaches you how to meet deadlines. It teaches you structure. And those things matter. But if you stop there, you'll only open a few small doors. Real freedom comes when you realize you are responsible for continuing your education long after the classroom ends. The world doesn't reward what you were taught. It rewards what you can do. And what you can do is built on what you understand. Think about this. If you understand money, you move differently. If you understand communication, you influence differently. If you understand psychology, you lead differently. If you understand technology, you compete differently. If you understand yourself, you live differently. Education is not about collecting information. It's about upgrading perception. And perception changes everything. Two people can stand in the same room and see completely different futures. One sees obstacles. The other sees opportunities. One sees risk. The other sees leverage. One sees a closed door. The other sees a lock waiting to be opened. The difference is knowledge. Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. The world respects competence. Not potential. Not excuses. Not dreams. Competence. And competence is built through learning. You cannot negotiate your way out of ignorance. You cannot manifest your way into skill. You cannot wish your way into understanding. You earn it. Brick by brick. Page by page. Lesson by lesson. But here's where it gets deeper. Education doesn't just change what you earn. It changes how you think. And how you think determines the quality of every decision you make. And your decisions? They build your life. Think about every major turning point in your life so far. The friendships you chose. The habits you built. The risks you took or avoided. The jobs you applied for. The chances you missed. Behind every one of those moments was a decision. And behind every decision was a level of understanding. When you lack education in a certain area, you default to fear. You hesitate. You doubt. You settle. You accept less because you don't know what more looks like. But when you educate yourself, something powerful happens. Fear shrinks. Because clarity grows. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is informed. It's knowing you can handle what's on the other side of the door. Now let's talk about freedom. Everyone says they want freedom. Financial freedom. Time freedom. Emotional freedom. Location freedom. But freedom without capability is fantasy. If you had all the time in the world but no skills, what would you do with it? If you had money but no financial education, how long would it last? If you had influence but no wisdom, how would you use it? Education prepares you to handle freedom responsibly. It turns chaos into strategy. Confusion into direction. Emotion into intelligence. And here's something most people don't realize. Education protects you. It protects you from scams. From manipulation. From toxic environments. From bad contracts. From poor investments. From misinformation. An educated mind is harder to control. And that is powerful. The reason some systems discourage deep thinking is because critical thinkers ask questions. They analyze. They challenge. They don't accept surface-level answers. Education doesn't just unlock doors. It teaches you which doors not to open. That might be even more important. Because not every opportunity is an opportunity. Some are traps disguised as success. And only awareness can tell the difference. Now I want you to picture your future self. 5 years from now. 10 years from now. What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of rooms are you in? What kind of decisions are you making? What kind of people are around you? Now ask yourself this. Are you becoming someone qualified to be in that future? Because the truth is, opportunity doesn't just knock. Sometimes it checks your credentials. And education builds those credentials. Not just on paper. In your mind. The saddest thing isn't failing. The saddest thing is never trying because you believed you weren't capable. And most of that belief comes from lack of exposure. You can't aspire to what you've never seen. You can't aim for what you don't understand. You can't build what you can't imagine. Education expands imagination. When you read about someone building something extraordinary, your mind expands. When you learn a new concept, your world grows. When you understand how systems work, you stop feeling small inside them. You stop being intimidated by rooms. You start belonging in them. And here's the truth nobody tells you. The doors don't get lighter. You get stronger. The locks don't disappear. You get better keys. And those keys are built daily. Through books. Through courses. Through mentors. Through experience. Through failure. Through reflection. Education is not a phase of life. It's a lifestyle. The moment you stop learning, you start shrinking. Because the world is evolving whether you do or not. Technology changes. Industries change. Economies change. Opportunities change. If your knowledge stays the same while the world moves forward, the gap between you and freedom grows wider. But if you commit to learning consistently, you don't chase the future. You prepare for it. And preparation creates confidence. Imagine waking up knowing that no matter what happens, job loss, economic shifts, unexpected changes, you have the skills to adapt. That's freedom. Not comfort. Capability. And here's something else. Education builds discipline. You don't feel like studying every day. You don't feel like reading every day. You don't feel like practicing every day. But doing it anyway builds mental strength. It teaches you to delay gratification. To focus. To push through resistance. And those traits transfer into every area of life. Relationships. Business. Health. Leadership. You become someone who finishes. And finishers open doors. Let's talk about self-education for a moment. Because in today's world, information is everywhere. You have access to knowledge that previous generations could only dream of. Entire libraries fit in your pocket. Experts share insights online. Courses exist on almost every skill imaginable. The barrier is no longer access. It's attention. If you can control your attention, you can control your growth. But if you let distractions steal your focus, you slowly hand away your keys. Every hour you invest in learning compounds. Every skill you develop stacks. Every concept you understand connects with another. And one day, you look back and realize you're no longer standing outside the door. You're holding it open for others. That's the power of education. It doesn't just change your life. It positions you to change lives. When you understand something deeply, you can teach it. When you can teach it, you can influence. When you influence, you create impact. And impact is the highest form of freedom. Now let me be clear. Education doesn't guarantee success. But ignorance almost guarantees limitation. And limitation feels like a cage. You might not see the bars. But you feel them. In the jobs you don't apply for. In the conversations you avoid. In the risks you never take. In the ideas you silence. You deserve more than that. You deserve access. And access begins in the mind. So the next time you feel stuck, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what do I need to learn to move forward? That question alone shifts power back to you. It transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a student of possibility. And students always have potential. You don't need to know everything. You just need to keep unlocking. One door at a time. One lesson at a time. One skill at a time. Because the truth is, the doors you never opened weren't locked forever. They were waiting for you to become ready. And readiness is built through education. So invest in your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does. Read beyond your comfort. Study beyond your requirements. Practice beyond your obligations. Think beyond your environment. Don't just chase money. Chase mastery. Money follows value. Value follows skill. Skill follows learning. And learning follows curiosity. Stay curious. Curiosity is the spark that leads to growth. Ask better questions. Seek deeper answers. Challenge your assumptions. Expand your worldview. And as you do, watch how your life changes. You'll notice new doors appearing. New paths revealing themselves. New conversations inviting you in. Because once you hold the master key, you don't wait for permission. You create entry. And that's what education truly is. It's not memorizing facts. It's not impressing others. It's not collecting certificates. It's becoming capable. Capable of thinking independently. Capable of earning sustainably. Capable of adapting quickly. Capable of leading confidently. Capable of living freely. The doors are there. They always were. The question is, will you pick up the key? Because every day you delay learning, another day passes outside the room you were meant to enter. But every day you choose growth, you step closer to freedom. And freedom is not given. It is unlocked. One lesson at a time. So start today. Open the first book. Enroll in the first course. Ask the first question. Build the first skill. You don't need permission. You need commitment. The doors you never opened are still waiting. And the master key? It's in your hands. Use it.